Hello, my name is OrhanEgeBILGE and I will present now my IoT project. My IoT project name is Wi-Fi temperature and humidity sensor based on NodeMCu. Let's start. Parts of project: introduction, materials, description of materials, design circuits, code and Blynk application, and I will show you the project image last of the project. Let's now start to introduction parts. Introduction parts about the general about IoT. IoT is used for the connection of the electronic devices with the internet. The devices may vary from the temperature measuring equipment and vehicle assist systems to other electronic devices such as sensors, softwares, and network connectivity facilities, which sanction collecting and exchanging data. Now we can talk about the purpose of the IoT-based temperature and humidity. This study explored the use of the Internet of Things in monitoring the temperature and humidity of a data center in real time, using a simple monitoring system to determine the relationships and the differences between the temperature and humidity with respect to the different locations of the measurements. And then in this project using Wi-Fi and Blynk application to show the temperature and humidity, the HD sensors on your computer or smartphone. The NodeMCu collect the temperature and humidity from the HD sensor and sends it to Blynk application every second. Humidity and temperature are very common for the measuring at many places like a farm, security area, medical, in the parameters, stories, home, and offices. The HD temperature sensors measure approximate value of the atmosphere, and with the Wi-Fi or Blynk application, we can easily see the results from everywhere. It is a very cheaper way to make own measurement. And this study allows the people to control the temperature and the humidity of the environment whenever they want. With the measurement mechanism, they place at a point they want in order to make human life easier and easier. Such IoT-based projects should be given importance. We can talk about materials parts. First of all, we can talk NodeMCu. NodeMCu is an open source software and hardware development environment built around the inexpensive system on a chip called the DSP. The DSP, designed and manufactured by the expressive systems, contains the essential elements of a computer: CPU, RAM, networking, and even a modern operating system and the SDK. That makes it an excellent choice for the Internet of Things projects of all kinds. The second one is the DHT temperature and humidity sensor. The DHT is a basic ultra-low cost digital temperature and humidity sensor. It uses a capacitive humidity sensor and a thermistor to measure the surrounding air and spits out digital signals on the data pin. No analog input pin needed. It is fairly simple to use but requires the careful timing to grab data. You can get new data from it every 2 seconds. So when using the library from the Adafruit, sensor reading can be up to 2 seconds old. There are some specifications. We can see all the specifications. Third part of the materials is breadboards. Breadboards is widely used to design and test circuits. You don't need to solder wires and components to make a circuit while using a breadboard. It is easier to mount components and reuse them. Socket trims are used to hold most of the components in a circuit. Generally, it consists of the two sections, each with 5 rows and the 64 columns. Every column is electrically connected from the inside. The fourth part is materials is jumper wires. Jumper wires are simply wires that have connector pins at each end, allowing them to be used to connect two points to each other without soldering. Jumper wires are typically used with the breadboards and other prototyping tools in order to make it easy to change its sources as needed. Fairly simple, in fact, it doesn't get much more basic than the jumper wires. And the last part of this material is micro USB cable. Uh, the very small USB part found on many non-Apple cell phones, tablets, and other portable devices is a micro USB socket. Considerably smaller than the USB types A and B, micro USB is also half the thickness of the mini USB. A micro USB has been superseded by USB Type-C on many new products. This is the desired circuit parts of my project. As you can see, the connecting parts and then the HD sensors and the NodeMCu. This is also code parts. This part is also about the Blynk application setup. We can see how to set up a Blynk application for our project. Create a new project, write project name, and select NodeMCu from the dropdown. An out token will be sent to your registered email. Note this down. Tap on the screen and add two gauges and two grabs. Tap on the widget and select the respective virtual pins for temperature and humidity data. There is one note. Make sure to set up reading rate as 1 second for all widgets, and add the gauges and grabs for the both humidity and temperature. And this is last parts of my project. As you can see the project image clearly. And then thank you for listening to me.